everybody, welcome back. We are here for chapter 2, which I did not mark in my book because I totally did not plan ahead. I usually don't. So we're going to go ahead and start with chapter 2 of our new book, Scouts. Here we go. Scarlett's bike has pink and purple tassels, a white basket, and an annoying horn. And she can't keep up. Me and Beans take off to Bassinger's farm, leaving Rocky and Finn back with her. They know where we're going. They'll catch up. At least Scarlett put on some pants, even if they are neon pink spandex. Now she won't flash everyone with her undies when she's climbing the silo. We drop our bikes, tucking them under our usual hiding tree, and we take a second to survey Bassinger's land. I honestly don't know where it starts and stops. There's so much of it. It's a dairy farm with 2 barns, lots of cows, hay fields, and a few houses scattered around where Bassinger's sons and their families live. The good thing about the silo we plan on climbing is that it's an old one that they don't use anymore, and it sits in a back pasture pretty much out of view. It's also the tallest thing in the area, perfect for stargazing. On the way there, I tried to ask Beans about what went down with his mom, but he just gave me a snippy nothing. But Beans tells me things he doesn't tell the others. And so before Finn and Rocky catch up, I try one last time. Hey, anything you want to talk about? You know I'll keep it between us. He looks away, and a beat or two goes by. I'm totally expecting another nothing. But then he shakes his head and turns to me, and slowly, his dark eyes fill with tears. The sight unnerves me. I've never seen him cry, not even when that bully on the bus punched him. Beans? I hesitantly ask. We're losing our house, he quietly admits, and I might have to go live with my dad. I don't understand. It's being foreclosed on. Mom says Dad didn't give her enough alimony and child support, but Dad says she spent all the money on herself instead of paying the bills. Beans sniffs and wipes his nose with the back of his hand. I don't know. They went to court and everything. I think about the way his mom dresses and the fancy car she drives. Their house, too. Super nice with the big pool in back where we always hang out. But I thought you were rich. Beans just shakes his head, and I reach over and give him a hug as my mind starts to reel with memories. Rigging his room with fishing line to catch the tooth fairy, camping out in his living room with a Scooby-Doo sheet for a tent, cooking chili dogs with his mom's curling iron. This can't be happening. Beans can't leave. He's one of my best friends. Maybe he can come live with me. Or maybe we can convince his mom to sell her fancy car and pay their bills. We'll figure it out, I tell him. I know all y'all think my mom is mean, but really she's just stressed. We don't think she's mean, I assure him, though. We do. But I guess her behavior makes sense. She might be losing everything, including Beans. He smiles weakly. Don't tell the others yet, okay? I don't want them to know. If he's embarrassed his mom spent all their money, he doesn't need to be. But I don't say that and instead assure him. Okay, I won't. Promise? I give him another quick hug. I promise. The others still haven't caught up yet, I'm sure because of Scarlett. So together Beans and I climb through the barbed wire and make our way up the grassy hill towards the silo. Heaven help us if Old Man Bassinger ever does one of those fancy electric fences around here. Though Beans could probably figure it out. Some sort of anti-electric thingamajig. I love Beans' inventions. Last year, he made a vest that's sort of like those Swiss Army knives. Each pocket and zipper and flap doubled as a survival device, but the zipper was the best part. If you removed it, it could be used as a flexible blade to saw wood. Yeah, Beans has got a cool brain. He definitely can't leave. We need him. I need him. It's almost dark now, but we don't dare switch on our flashlights as we approach the silo. I glance back to see Finn, Rocky, and Scarlett just now dropping their bikes and climbing through the barbed wire. Rocky steps on the bottom strip and pulls the top one up for Scarlett to climb through safely. He's never held the barbed wire for me. None of them have. Grabbing onto the first rung of the silo ladder, Beans starts climbing and I follow behind him. Halfway up, I stop and look down to see the other 3 beginning their ascent. Scarlett's babbling and giggling about something, and somewhere in the mix I hear Rocky chuckle. But it's not a real laugh, it's a fake one. He's my friend. I know the difference. Frankly, I don't know why people fake laugh. It's the stupidest thing ever. If I don't think something's funny, I don't laugh. Kind of a no-brainer. Beans keeps climbing and I follow. And when we reach the top, we crawl under the railing and scooch over to make room for the others. A few minutes later, Finn pops up, followed by Scarlett and then Rocky. When they're all on this side of the railing, Scarlett stands for a second and looks over Bassinger's farm. "Wow!" she exclaims and clasps her hands. Yeah, it's pretty impressive. We lived in Los Angeles before we moved here. I don't remember much, but I do remember a lot of concrete and small houses with even smaller yards. Here, it's all green and hilly with trees and fields and mountains in the distance. Mom says it's picturesque. All I know is that it's just about the best place ever to play and get lost with my friends. Oh, and snow tubing is awesome, especially when you hit a bump and go flying out of the tube. I never want to leave. I never want my friends to leave either. Be careful, Rocky tells Scarlett and motions for her to sit. Yeah, we wouldn't want her to fall over the railing or anything. Rocky nudges in to sit between me and Scarlett. Good, I don't want to sit next to her anyway. You're wearing a bra, Rocky notices, looking straight at the front of my tee. Beans giggles. I feel my cheeks get hot as I look down at my white Guns N' Roses tee, and sure enough, I could see the outline of the training bra Mom made me put on. I never get embarrassed, but right now my face goes from red to full on fire. I defend myself. It's a sports thing. That doesn't even make sense, Rocky says. Yes, it does. Finn points to my t-shirt. Your sister wears one of those when she plays basketball. Rocky thinks about that a second. Oh yeah, true. Oh my gosh, I yell. Can we drop it? What's the big deal? Scarlett asks. She's a girl. Girls wear bras. But she's Annie, Rocky says. Like that even makes sense. Have the guys really not noticed until now? Just shut up, I snap. And then I shove Rocky, sending him right into Scarlett. She screams like she's about to plummet to her death, and Rocky grabs her. I've got you, he says. And she giggles again, and the bra topic is officially over. Thank God. Finn swats his neck. Great, mosquitoes. He slides a small spray bottle from his front pocket and squirts it, and then offers it to us, but we all shake our heads. He lies back then, and for a few minutes we quietly stare up at the sky and the millions of stars. Then Beans sits up and rifles around in his bag and pulls out the plastic baby bottle telescope. Rocky and Finn don't really care about Beans' inventions, but I do, especially when I get to help him make stuff. This one we made last week in anticipation of the meteor shower. On the small end, we wrapped electrical tape around a tiny magnifying glass. We cut the bottom off the larger end of the bottle and taped a bigger magnifier there. Holding the small end up to his eye, Beans peers through, and eagerly I watch, itching for my turn. After a few seconds, he hands over the telescope, and I close one eye as I peer through too. Wow, it really does work. I can see the halos of light around the stars and everything. I made a telescope once, Scarlett says. It won a National Science Award. The judges said it was the best they had ever seen. There was even this guy there from NASA who took it back with him. NASA? Really? Beans asked, and I think he just fell in love with her brain. She nods. Swear to God. Finn glances over at me and whispers, She tells a lot of tall tales. I laugh a little and Finn reaches for the telescope. My turn. I hand the homemade telescope over and then close my eyes and settle back onto the silo. A warm breeze floats past and I inhale the relaxing scent of grass and hay. None of us speak for a few minutes. If I could freeze time, this would be a good moment right here. I don't know why my mom was harping on me to make new friends. I know the Scouts are going to be friends forever. I smile a little as I remember the very first time we got into trouble. Planting his hands on his hips, the principal bent over and got right in our faces. He looked first at me, then Finn, Rocky, and Beans, then right back at me. What do you have to say for yourselves? I bit my pinky nail. Dad said carpet that had boric acid on it is fire retardant, Beans corrected me, and the principal shot him a look. So you all just decided to light the hallway carpet on fire and see? The principal swerved his gaze back to me. The idea occurred to you all at the same time? The Scouts and I exchanged looks. All for one and all that, right? So in perfect synchronicity, we answered, "Yes, sir." I knew then I had found my people. I'm about to remind them of that story when Scarlett's voice breaks the silence. "When's this meteor shower supposed to happen?" "Any time now," Beans answers. I hear something pop and I open my eyes. Rocky takes a slurp of RC Cola and passes the can. I take a gulp and burp, then Beans. Finn wipes the opening before his own slurp and burp. Then we look at Rocky, who slurped, but didn't burp. It's what we do. Gulp RC and burp. Why isn't he burping? Rocky cuts a guilty cringe as he swerves his gaze to Scarlett, who is staring at the sky. I narrow my eyes. What? Now he's suddenly a gentleman? "There it is!" Scarlett shouts, and I nearly choke on my next gulp. Bean scrambles to grab the homemade telescope, and I glance up to the sky to see a single shooting star. "Cool," Rocky says. "Yeah," I agree as another streaks across. Then another, and another. "Amazing," Finn says. "You seeing this?" I ask Beans as he excitedly nods. Another, and another. Silently, we all watch as what seems like a dozen of stars streak through the sky. I don't blink. I don't breathe. I don't want to miss anything. "Oh my gosh!" Beans points behind us. "Look at that one!" I swerve around and stare at what starts out as a small white glow trailing through the sky. And I watch as it gets bigger. 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 This one is going to be way closer than any of the others. I feel the silo begin to vibrate as I realize this shooting star is low. Too low. My heart jumps to my throat. It's coming right towards us! Finn screams. Frantically, we scramble over one another, hollering, trying to get down, but it keeps coming. Faster, faster, bigger and bigger. It's hissing now, shaking the air around us. "Duck!" Rocky yells, and we flatten ourselves to the silo. Panting, trembling, I stare straight at it, my eyes glued wide, my ears ringing, terror prickling across my skin. It's going to hit us. Oh, please, God, don't let me die. An intense bright light flares as the meteor whistles through the air right over our heads. The silo shakes hard and the light flashes to orange, then yellow, and then disappears into the horizon. And then, nothing but silence. I stay pressed against the silo with my shoulders planted onto the warm concrete. Beside me, Finn gasps, and I know he's about to have an asthma attack. With a swallow, I push myself up, and with shaky hands, I slide his inhaler from his front pocket and press it into his palm. Rocky sits up next and looks over at me with a wigged-out expression that I know I must share too. "Holy," Beans whispers. Together we stare out into the night, and miles away to where the meteor fell. A faint yellow glow gradually fades until the whole area blankets to darkness again. "I bet it's," Finn wheezes, "extraterrestrial." "Did you watch Alien again?" Beans asks. Finn sits up on another wheeze. "Maybe." Rocky agrees. "A UFO, and they're gonna suck our brains right out of our heads." "Only one way we're gonna find out." I stand up and look down at all my friends. And Scarlett. And an idea forms. "Scouts? Why do you call yourselves scouts?" She interrupts. I switch my gaze over to her. "Because our town is too small for an actual Boy Scouts troop, so we made our own." "But you're not a boy," she says. I ignore her because that's so not the point, and turn back to my friends. "We are hiking to where that thing went down, and we're finding it. This will be our greatest adventure yet." I make sure to look directly at Beans as I say the next part. "I bet whoever finds that meteor will be famous. They'll probably get some kind of major science awards and lots of money." Rocky agrees. "Probably like $1 million. I keep looking at Beans. "Think about what we could do with that money." He nods, clearly now seeing what I am suggesting. "Yeah." "This would be so much fun!" Scarlett claps her hands. "Oh, heck no. She's not coming. It'll be dirty." She gets up. "So? And also scary. Very, very, I lean forward. Very scary. I'm coming with you, she says. Finn shakes his head. No, you're not. I'll tell all your parents if you don't let me. Her blonde eyebrows knowingly lift. Collectively we sigh. She had us there. I fold my arms. Okay, but this is how it works. We've perfected this over the years, so don't screw it up. We'll set up our campsite in the usual place and leave a note saying we went to the treehouse, which is located in Rocky's backyard. In the treehouse, we leave a note saying we went to the fort, which we built in that empty lot across from my house. At the fort, we leave a note saying we're in Finn's basement. By the time they track all the notes, which they never do, we're back from our adventure. This time, I lift my eyebrows. Got it? She purses her lips. They never come looking for you? Believe me, we know what we're doing. I look at the scouts to back me up on this, and they all nod. Got it? I asked her. She smiles. Got it. We all climb down the silo, and as soon as we're back on the grass, Rocky says, I'll take Scarlett with me to set up the tent, and you guys can do the notes. I'll go with you. Finn starts to follow. Rocky stops him. Why don't you leave the notes instead? Oh, Finn frowns. Okay, I guess. They head off in different directions, and I watch Finn and Rocky for a second. Maybe this trip will be good for them, or rather, good for Rocky. Maybe it'll help him get over whatever his problem is with their parents dating. I turn to Beans, who is staring at the purple bandana wrapped around my head. He reaches up and brushes his hand across the top, and brings his fingers down to show me some silver glittery stuff. It's then I notice the stuff is in his hair too, and a little bit on our clothes. What is it? I ask. He runs his thumb across the pads of his fingers. Must be paint from the silo. I look at Beans for a second, and it really hits me how much he means to me. How truly sad I would be to lose him. What? He asked, picking up on my mood. Nothing, I smile. Beans, if we find that thing, it'll probably be worth a lot of money. Excitement bubbles up through me. You guys can pay your bills, and you won't have to move. This is huge. Beans can stay right at home where he belongs. With us, the scouts. He brushes his finger off on his jeans before giving me a huge grin. I know. Let's go. So that's the end of chapter 2. I look forward to tomorrow's chapter when we really get into the meat of the adventure and even just get to explore the characters a little bit more. I think they do a really good job of that in this book. So I can't wait to go through that with you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Mom says it's picture.